All right, welcome to another edition of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. Oops. I'm over here on the island server for Supreme Gaming. And I'm going to do some eggs. I do have a video lined up right off the bat. Did some taming last time, and I couldn't get anything good. I think they keep doing dino wipes because of the breeding bonanza, so I'll wait till next week to try to tame some stuff.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to...
I got this guy, Richard Fain. NVIDIA stock just made a move that will make it to 1,000 per share. Do this now. He offers something from Mubu, which is where you open up a brokerage account with them, and you get so many free stocks, which is nice. But I trade Forex, which is currencies. I don't trade commodity stocks or anything like that. But, I mean, it's up to you guys. Here's the gentleman.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel.
Baby.
And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you want up to 15 free stocks plus $30 in cash reward, get down in the description box and click on that first link, the Moomoo link. When you open a new Moomoo brokerage account, if you put $100 in that account, they're going to give you 5 free stocks plus the $30 cash reward. If you open the Moomoo account with $1,000, they will give you 15 free stocks plus the $30 cash reward. Don't delay, act today, guys. This is a limited time offer, so get down in the description box, click on that Moomoo link, open up that Moomoo account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. I can also send you 2 Moomoo tutorial videos that will walk you through how to use the Moomoo brokerage app. All you got to do is send me an email through my website, www.richardfain.net. Let me know you've opened the Moomoo brokerage account. Let me know you funded it, and I'll send you out those 2 Moomoo tutorial videos so you can collapse time frames and start building your wealth immediately. This week in the stock market, it was a mixed bag. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 288.73 points, or 0.69%, ending at 42,052.19 points. The S&P 500 advanced 0.41% to close at 5728.80, and the Nasdaq Composite rose 0.8% to close at 18,239.92. Amazon rallied 6.2% as strength in the cloud and advertising businesses propelled the e-commerce giant above Wall Street's earning expectations. Intel popped 7.8% after exceeding analyst forecasts for revenue and offering strong guidance. The 2 stocks helped lift investor sentiment following some notable earnings disappointments this week. Mega cap stocks are still the tail wagging the dog, said chief investment strategist at Sage Advisory. You're seeing some broadening, but it's still such a massive component right now. Meanwhile, the jobs report released Friday showed the U.S. economy added just 12,000 jobs in October, far below the Dow Jones estimate of 100,000. This marked the weakest level of jobs creation since December 2020. The unemployment rate held at 4.1%, in line with estimates. However, traders were not reacting too much to the jobs figures, believing the dismal data was affected by hurricanes and the Boeing strike. Obviously, we got some things happening next week. And the biggest thing we got happening next week that I believe will affect the stock market is the presidential election. That's Tuesday, November 5th. I think once we get on the other side of the November 5th presidential election, I think the stock market will rally. That's my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert here, guys. I'm just giving you my opinion and my prediction. I'm just looking at history. When we look at past presidential elections, typically November and December, once that's settled, the market runs because investors are trying to position themselves for 2025, right? Plus, they're trying to end 2024 on a good note. They want to make money before the end of the year. So I think once we get past that, we'll be in good shape. The other thing that'll be happening is the Fed will be meeting on November 6th and November 7th. And I think what you'll see on November 7th, you'll see the Fed come out and reduce short-term interest rates, aka Fed funds rate, by 25 basis points. The PCE report, I believe that was for September, came in at 2.1% inflation. And obviously the Fed wants it at 2%, but you got to understand where we came from. You're talking about inflation was 9% back in June of 2022, and now it's all the way down to 2.1%, just shy of the 2% target the Fed wants. So I think the Fed has done what they needed to do with inflation. Now their mandate is to focus on the labor market so that they can maximize employment and our economy can continue growing. So they're going to reduce these interest rates in order to incentivize or stimulate the economy. They want to get short-term interest rates to neutral. And I believe neutral is somewhere between 3 and 3.5%. And I think they'll do that over the course of 2025 and then on to 26. They're going to get short-term interest rates, aka Fed funds rate, to neutral. So that's going to be happening, and that's, in my opinion, a tailwind to push the stock market higher. The lower rates are, guys, the more growth stocks go up. Why? Because then companies can take that cheap money and put it into growing their companies. So I just think when rates come down, that introduces another money supply to our economy. Companies, consumers take that money and invest it and grow. So I just think interest rates are going to be a positive catalyst in the coming months and over the next couple of years. The Dow Jones Industrial Average index is getting ready to add some new companies to the Dow, replacing old companies. And the biggest name that's going to be added to the Dow is NVIDIA, or NVIDIA, however you want to pronounce it. Here it is. NVIDIA to join Dow Jones Industrial Average, replacing Intel. That's a huge thing, guys, for NVIDIA. And we're going to look at their stock price, and you can see it bounced on that news. But here it is. NVIDIA will replace rival chip maker Intel in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The S&P Dow Jones indices announced late Friday. Also, Sherwin-Williams will step in for Dow Inc. The changes will take place before the open on Friday, November 8th. So a week from yesterday, NVIDIA is going to be in the Dow as well, which is, in my opinion, guys, amazing, right? So it's in the Dow, it'll be in the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ 100. So I'm loving that, right? I'm loving that, and the stock price is loving it too. NVIDIA stock rose 2.9% Friday night, while Sherwin-Williams gained 3.4%. Intel stock fell 1.85%, and Dow Inc. dipped 0.9%. NVIDIA joining the Dow has been speculated for several months as the AI chip leader skyrocketed. In June, NVIDIA stock split 10-1, heightening Dow Jones buzz. The price-weighted Dow doesn't want high-priced stocks that swing the indexes with modest percentage moves. So I think that's a game changer for myself personally, because I'm a big, heavy investor into NVIDIA as a company. I'm a shareholder, and I just think this is more acceptance for this company in the broader stock market, guys. In my opinion, if they continue to do what they're doing, and I believe they're coming out on November 20th with their Q3 earnings report, and if it's a monster, I think that's a tailwind that pushes the stock higher. And if you see what the stock price was on Friday when the stock closed after hours now, this is what it did after hours. It got itself up to 139.31 after hours. It closed at 135.37. So up almost $4 a share after hours on the news of being added to the Dow. Incredible, guys. My ask of you guys is to put yourself in position. Get yourself prepared this weekend. Think about your wealth transfer blueprint. Get yourself in position. Move monies around. Do whatever you need to do. So on Monday, when the market opens, you're ready to take advantage of any ups or downs. You're ready to go. Because I'm telling you, in my opinion, the month of November and December, January, March, and April of next year are going to be tremendous opportunities for us to build wealth. And you do not want to be on the sideline. You want to put yourself in the game. Just my opinion, not a financial advisor, not trying to give you financial advice here on YouTube. Just been doing this for a long time, guys, and I'm just trying to give you some practical ways to enhance your wealth. Another practical way to enhance your wealth is getting down in the description box and clicking on that Moomoo link and open up a Moomoo account today and get yourself up to 15 free stocks plus $30 in cash reward. Can't beat that deal, guys. Nobody else is doing that on the internet. Right? So get down in the description box, click on the Moomoo link, open it up today, go get that free stock, go get that free money. Stop by my website, www.richardfain.net. Second link down in the description box. I got 10 big boy blue chip digital products that will change your financial life, guys. Over 400,000 of you guys have already checked out the website.
Just lag.
And a ton of you guys have made an investment in yourself and purchased digital products to help you educate yourself so that you can become a better investor and build your wealth. Also, when you're in the website, consider joining the fastest growing financial community on Patreon. We're called the Wealth Builders. We have over 1,000 Wealth Builders in about 6 months. My goal is to have 2,000 by the end of the year. And I'm going to do everything I can to assist people in joining the Wealth Builders because it's a fantastic community to help you build wealth, guys. We're not experts. We're just regular people just like you that help each other.
Always get lag
golden
spikes
nuggets,
nowadays.
Tips, best practices,
Probably my
what's
internet,
working,
though.
what's not working, and overall just a good place where people can ask questions about building wealth and not be afraid
Forget about this
to
stuff.
ask those questions, right? So if you want to be a part of that, all you got to do is click on the
Yeah, it's
join
just lag.
button or the
Big time
membership
lag.
button inside
I don't
the
think
website.
it'll fail,
It'll
'cause I
take
had
you
this
over to
earlier today.
Patreon, sign up. If you stop
Yeah,
by the channel for the
see.
first time, please consider
Won't go
subscribing,
forward.
share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.
Jeez, look! You see how the frame rate drops? Well, you guys can't see it, but it's a frame rate. It goes to like nothing, and then it goes back up. Then you lag out some more. It's just super lag. I'm just trying to teleport to one of the obelisks because I put some stuff in the obby last time, and I wanted to see if I can get it. Well, maybe I can get it from here. See if this is open. Maybe this is open. No. See, I used to have an open one outside the base anybody can access, and a closed one inside the base that only I can access. That's how I used to do it. I don't know. Let's see. Obby should be, I think, here. Okay, still trying to come up. All right, that was Richard Fain. already gave him a thumbs up. Oh, here's a gypsy. Joey the Gypsy.
I'm a guy that looks.
I don't believe this. Sund is hiring. Yeah, a lot of people are hiring theoretically. Then you go apply and they don't have a real job there. So fake. Everything corporate is so fake. All right, so this is Joey the Gypsy, best survival gear for urban survival for homeless that nobody knows about.
All right, so this video is going to be about what's the best equipment to carry if you're homeless or living on the street. And to be honest, this equipment is best for all scenarios, in my opinion. This is what, I mean, I lived on the street on and off for about 10 years. I was mostly on the street that whole time. But this is the system I came up with. And I'm going to explain it as well as I can. And I actually broke it down into categories. Like this is, I took notes and everything for this video. So, because I feel like this is important information. So basically, you know, when you have to carry everything you own, you're going to have to be real smart about what you carry. You know what I mean? I always carried a lot of weight, but I've also always been the type of person who doesn't mind carrying a lot of weight. Whenever I see people used to complain like, oh, my backpack's killing my shoulders, that's foreign. I never had an issue with that. And I had so much crap in my backpack. I believe it's all a state of mind. People who think like, oh, this is going to be heavy. I didn't think that way. You know what I mean? I like to have what I need. But you'd be amazed how many people live on the street who are so unprepared that it's a miracle they make it even a week, but they'll be out there for years. Then there's other people who they'll just ditch everything they own because they're tired of carrying it. I've lived like super high discipline compared to a lot of people out there, because my thing is I like to get good equipment and then I got it and I don't got to worry about it. But a lot of these people on the street, and don't get me wrong, everyone's different, but there's a lot of people on the street who they're in a way they become almost domesticated. What I mean by that is every day they sit and they kind of beg for money, and I don't blame them for doing that. I never did it, but look at my videos if you want to know my full story. I never panhandled, but it was, you know, I felt I didn't have the right to panhandle, put it that way. But the people who do, what happens is they get stuck in this habit of just having everything handed to them. So I knew homeless people that if they didn't feel like carrying their stuff, they would just leave it on the street and then go beg, you know, people would come by being like, is there anything I can help you with? They'd be like, I need a sleeping bag. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you left your sleeping bag this morning because you were too lazy to carry it, and now you're going to play this pity role and basically swindle these people into going. They take him to Walmart and they buy him all this stuff. Within a week, he's going to just ditch it all and then talk someone else into doing it. Now, you know, I'm not saying like I would be sitting there all jealous and mad about it, but I'd be sitting there thinking to myself, like, that is such an inefficient and stupid way to be when you could be building up and trying to get off the street. You decide to be lazy and you just leave all your crap, and then you have someone else just replace it all for you. And I'm like, you know, and they're only punishing themselves. What they're doing is they're putting themselves in this endless cycle of being homeless and having nothing. It's like, if you want to build up a future, man, you got to start and build. You know, you don't just ditch everything because you don't feel like carrying it. And it's like, to me, it's not it's not that hard to just be disciplined enough to pack up your crap and take it with you in the morning. It's not that hard. But, well, then again, believe me, there was plenty of mornings when I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be like, laying in my sleeping bag. It's 10 degrees outside, and I'm like, oh man, I do not want to pack up my camp. This is going to be rough. You know, one time, I'll never forget it. It poured one night. This is in the winter. It's rare for it to just rain and pour in the winter. It's usually either snow or the rain doesn't last that long, but this time it rained like all night. And on top of the rain, it was very cold. So when I woke up in the morning, not only was everything wet, but I was freezing. And the weather was so cold, I couldn't really dry my stuff. It would have just frozen solid. So I just packed up all my wet crap and went about my day. The next day, it was real cold. And I mean like below 10. And everything I have is soaking wet. I'm like, what are you going to do, you know? I put on my camp and, you know, the way I would deal with the real cold weather was I'd have hand warmers in my sleeping bag. So I knew I wasn't going to freeze to death. You know what I mean? I had money on the street, and I always had a supply of hand warmers. If I was cold in my sleeping bag, I'd crack open another pair of them. Sometimes I'd have like 8 of them going at once in my sleeping bag. I didn't mind, you know, I could afford it, you know. So that the morning when I woke up, I went to sleep. It's 10 degrees out. Everything I have is soaking wet. When I woke up the next day, everything I had was basically frozen solid. I couldn't untie my knots to get my little shelter down. I had to like do it with my teeth. Like I had to bite it and like, but the knots were like ice around them. It was nuts, dude. I'll never forget it. But so, you know, believe me, mornings like that, the last thing I wanted to do was pack up all my crap and drag it over up. I'm going uphill to go to where I get my coffee in the morning. And so, yeah, I get it. But the thing is, when you push through that and you have the discipline to force yourself to do the right thing and to be disciplined and to keep your stuff organized and not just ditch it, it puts you on another level. It puts you on another level mentally. That's another reason when, you know, all these things have an impact on you. You know what I mean? That was another reason why I would walk around New York in kind of a fearless way. I'm not a big dude, but I carry myself as if I'm a giant. So, like, people, when I'd get into it with people, they'd see the look in my eyes and they'd be like, there's something about this kid, man. This kid's a wolf or something, you know? And it's because I forced myself to live in a disciplined way. I've worked out multiple times a day, even though I was homeless. 10 degrees out, I was still doing my push-ups. I'd get to my spot at night, and I'd be like, I don't feel like doing my push-ups, but you know what? This is what separates me from the rest of these people. And it's like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm the toughest, I'm the hardest, I'm the coolest. I'm telling you the mentality you should have if you want to be the best version of yourself. These things have an impact. When you live with discipline and you do things right, and I always looked at it as training, you know what I'm saying? I looked at it as like, this is like friggin' special forces training. The shit that they go through with the wet and the cold, and they still got to work out, and sometimes they can't eat. I used to think to myself, this is special forces training, bro. So don't complain, don't cry, don't feel bad for yourself. Be grateful, because God is turning you into a machine. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. There was plenty of times where I'd be like, fuck this shit. Like, I'd be so upset, man. I'd be like, but I'm not the type to get sad. I get mad, you know? And truthfully, that's it. It's a survival tactic. Sad gets you killed. Mad gets you, pulls you through. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's get to the equipment. So I actually took notes on this. But my point here is, don't ditch your stuff for a million reasons. First of all, it's going to toughen you up to keep it on you. Second of all, it's more efficient. You don't got to waste everyone's money to get you new stuff all the time. And as you get more money and you get more comfortable on the street, you get better at it. You know, you'll get more money, you get better stuff. Most of the time when I was on the street, I had a piece of crap $30 Coleman sleeping bag from Kmart that was rated for 50 degrees. When I think back on it, I'm like, and there was times, I'm not kidding you, where I slept in below 10 degrees in a 50-degree sleeping bag with nothing else except a poncho liner and hand warmers. And I'm like, I think back on it, man. One night, me and my buddy Ben stayed out on Broadway. We didn't feel like going all the way to our spot, which was a little far. We dropped down in a bus stop because we seen it had like shelter, you know? What we didn't realize was once we got all our shit set up and we laid down in our sleeping bags, what we didn't notice was the bus stop didn't cover. There was like a foot or two between the ground and the bus stop wall. So we had the wind blasting right through our spot all night. And that night it was below 10 degrees. That's why we didn't go to our spot. We didn't feel like having numb hands when we got there trying to set up our spot. Ben didn't even have a sleeping bag. I'll never forget it. But he did have a dog, Sadie, who was like a little oven, you know. So he had Sadie wrapped around him. But I'll never forget it, man. That was one of the coldest nights of my life. And it was due to low temperature and wind. So the proper equipment now. First thing you're going to have to handle is storage. So you're going to need a backpack. Get the best one you can afford. A cheap backpack is going to break down. It's going to cause more problems than it solves. I've had cheap backpacks when I was a kid. My mother got me some piece of crap backpack and it just fell apart real quick. So when I got older, I always bought the best. You know, once I was in high school and I actually like cared about things, I wouldn't let my mother get me a cheap backpack. Back then I had a JanSport, which JanSports are pretty good, but nowadays I'm all about the North Face backpacks. Now, I've got to say, I think North Face's quality has gone down a little bit over the years, but I've still got a really good North Face backpack. But my old one was actually probably better. My old North Face, I had the Jester. But the problem was I was stuffing so much crap into it that eventually the zipper broke, but that was my fault for overstuffing it. So don't overstuff your backpack. I don't care how good your backpack is. If you overstuff it, you're going to destroy it and make it useless. Now, North Face will replace it for free, but the problem is they're going to send it to California to get repaired, and then so you're going to go like a month without a backpack. So when my North Face Jester broke down, I went to North Face and I'm like, okay, replace my backpack. Let's see if they actually do it. They're like, okay, well, we got to send it to California. I was like, oh, man. I was like, I live on the street, bro. I need my backpack. They're like, nah, well, you know, we can't just whatever, you know? So I said, all right. And I just bought another one. I had money. I was one of the richest homeless people on earth. But my suggestion is, yeah, North Face makes good backpacks. Those are the ones I have the most experience with, so those are the ones I recommend. As long as you don't overpack it, it should be good. Now, the other thing, it depends on how much weight you want to carry, but I also had this really nice North Face luggage with the wheels on it. The best rolling luggage you're ever going to see. And I went through I had a Victorinox one. I had two Victorinox ones, which I completely destroyed living on the street. The only one that was worth having was the North Face one. Now, they're really hard to get now. I've looked on Amazon, and I don't see them anymore. But it's called the North Face Long Haul, and I had the 30-liter, I think. But it has, like, rollerblade wheels on it. And that's the other upside to it is once... I had it for years, and eventually the wheels went to shit because I put so many miles on the thing. It was not the luggage's fault. I had the thing attached to a back of a bicycle, and I'd be riding all over the city with it. And so eventually the wheels went bad, but that's the upside to the North Face one. You can repair it. So I went to the sport equipment store and I bought rollerblade wheels, took the old North Face wheels off, put some rollerblade wheels on it, and I had spare wheels, you know. So that was what I did for a rolling luggage. Before I had the bike, I used to just drag it behind me. And yeah, I tend to be heavy with my stuff. Now, as far as like sleeping, in the beginning, Oh, another thing with storage is plastic bags. Whenever you buy anything, keep the plastic bags. They come in really handy. You can waterproof things really quickly with a plastic bag. If it's pouring rain, the things in your backpack are going to get wet, and certain things you don't want getting wet, like phone chargers and stuff. You put them in just a plastic grocery bag, wrap them up. It's waterproof. Water ain't getting in there. I would use them if I had food. I'd put them in the plastic bag and tie it up. This way no bugs could get at it. It would keep your food fresher. They come in handy in a million different ways. Plastic bags. Very important piece of equipment, which is free. Every time I would buy something, I never threw the bag out. I always kept the bag. Now, as far as the sleeping setup, I can actually show y'all my sleeping setup. I brought it out. So this way I can finally show y'all what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to reverse the camera. Alright, so this is a poncho liner. And see how you can tie it? Like, poncho liners have these, like, things attached, so you can tie it up as a shelter if you want to. Now this is my Swagman roll, which is basically like a lightweight summer sleeping bag. It's rated for like 50 degrees. This is my 30-degree sleeping bag, so when it's not cold out, I basically put my sleeping bag inside the Swagman roll, which makes just more padding. It's kind of like a mattress. Then I did this, since it's tied at the bottom there, I just hook it onto the bottom of my Swagman roll, and then this is the poncho liner is kind of like my blanket, you know. But when it's cold out, I'll get inside the sleeping bag, which is inside the Swagman roll. The Swagman roll is waterproof. You can sit there in the rain with this thing and not get wet. The poncho liner is water resistant, but it's not waterproof. So that's my sleep system. And that's the best one that I've come up with over the years. That Swagman roll, it's going to run you about $150, but it's also a poncho. You can unzip it and put it on like a poncho, which I never did. I just would get wet in the rain. I was out in the weather so much, I didn't even care. I didn't feel like putting it, I would just get to a dry place. I'm not going to sit there. What I would do is wrap my luggage in my military poncho, but we'll get to that. So, hopefully I explained the sleeping system. My sleeping bag is a Kelty, which they're pretty good. They're all right. They're not the best, they're not the worst. They're about mid-range, I'd say. That sleeping bag is rated for 30 degrees, costing me about $100. That, with the Swagman roll and the poncho liner, you're good all year round. And then when it's cold, use some hand warmers. Or, it depends on your climate. You might need a 0-degree sleeping bag. I don't know. But the problem with a 0-degree sleeping bag is it's only good in the winter. You can't do shit with that in the spring, summer, and fall. You're going to be way too hot, bro. So, that's where the Swagman roll comes in. I use that sleeping bag, the Swagman roll, more than anything else because it's the best all-weather sleeping bag. It's not too hot, it's not too cool, it's like perfect. You're good in the Swagman roll down to about 45, 50 degrees. The coldest I've stayed in just the Swagman roll was probably mid-40s, and I was fine. Now, the next thing is clothes. So, when you're in a place like New York City, you got 4 seasons. You know, you're experiencing all 4 seasons all the way. It's going to be hot in the summer. It's going to be cold in the winter. So, when you're carrying everything you own, you're not going to want to be carrying a winter coat around. A lot of homeless people, what they would do is they would just wait till the winter and then get someone to buy them a winter coat, and then come spring, they would just ditch it. But that's not what I did. What I did was I had a nice North Face hoodie, which was thin fleece. It's in my trailer back there. I can't remember. I can't really show it to you right now, but it's a thin fleece hoodie, which has some like Cortex or Gore-Tex, whatever, on the shoulders and hood, so it's water resistant. That's my, well, also I had the Under Armour base layer. I've got multiple pairs of that Under Armour compression stuff, which it's like skin tight. It's almost like having a wetsuit. So that would be my base layer. Wool socks are the best for the winter. And then, you know, I'd put, if it was cold, then I'd put a pair of sweatpants over the base layer, then a pair of jeans over the sweatpants. And I'd have my thin fleece hoodie, and then I had a Patagonia fleece, which they're not cheap, but they're that thing is almost as warm as a winter coat, but it's a fleece pullover. They're a little heavy. They're not as heavy as a winter coat. They're a little bulky, but they're not as bulky as a winter coat. So I kept a Patagonia fleece. During the spring, summer, and fall, I would just fold it up tight and put it in my luggage. And then my other layer was a North Face Gore-Tex jacket, which was waterproof. So when it was cold, I'd wear everything, and I'd be waterproof because of the North Face Gore-Tex jacket. But all those things, my North Face fleece hoodie, my Patagonia fleece, and my North Face Gore-Tex jacket would fold down to, they don't take up much space. So that would make up like my winter coat. And you know, since it's layered, you're good all year round. All right, so this is my North Face hoodie, which is thin fleece. It's badass, dude. I love it. So you can see how it's like, it's thin fleece. You know what I mean? This is my North Face Gore-Tex jacket, which is waterproof. And then this is my Patagonia pullover fleece, which this needs to be washed. It's usually fluffier than that, but so yeah, there's my winter. You know, these three equal a good winter coat, and you can, you know, wear them in any order or whatever. You're good for any weather with those three. Down to, I'd be outside all day, 20 degrees, doing portraits sometimes, which I wouldn't make a lot of money in 20 degrees, but I could be out there all day in that. So there's my little winter clothes setup. And this is my fox fur hat. Someone in the comments one time said it's not real fox fur. It is, buddy. Trust me on that. It's a badass hat, dude. Hold on. I'll model it for you. Yeah. So, fucking badass winter hat, dude. Sometimes you need one of the things, sometimes you need two of them, sometimes you need all three. But I'll link all this stuff in the description. I'll try to. Not sure if you're going to be able to get the exact hoodie I got, but I'll link the closest thing I can find to it. So that's the clothes situation. Then in the summer, just shorts and wife beaters. That's me in the summer. I kept 2 pairs of shorts and a ton of wife beaters, because wife beaters don't take up any space. I can, 10 wife beaters takes up a space like this. And, a couple of t-shirts, but in the summer I never really wore. I would just wear, a wife beater, because it's too hot for me to be wearing a t-shirt. Same with Florida. So we got the sleeping system, we got the clothing. This is going to end up being a long video. I might have to make this in 2 parts. I don't know. So then you're going to have some way to gather money, aka resources. So if you have any type of artistic ability, I'm going to make a video on how to make money. But what you're going to need to make money is you're going to need to make a sign. So cardboard and a marker. And then eventually you can upgrade to a plywood sign. I'll show y'all how to make a sign in my money making video, where I'll show you how to sell your art on the street, or if you photography, whatever. I'll show you how to do that. you can make a sign out of plywood that'll fold down. I'll show you how to do that in the money video. So, you know, in order to make money, you're going to need cardboard or plywood and a marker. Now, then you got security. You got to keep your stuff from being stolen. So, there's a million ways you can do it. What I used to do is I took paracord. I'd tie it to all my stuff, and then I would tie that to my sleeping bag. So if anyone grabbed anything, it would pull on my sleeping bag and wake me up, and it's worked before. Someone tried to steal my North Face Gore-Tex jacket, which is badass. It's camouflage. Someone tried to steal that. It woke me up. I caught him, and he hauled ass. So whatever you don't want stolen, you tie the paracord to it, tie it to your sleeping bag, or tie it to your own leg. I used to do that too. Obviously, you don't want to cut the circulation off. You tie it loose. When I was first homeless and I would take a nap in Penn Station, I would strap my backpack to my leg. So if anyone grabbed it, it would wake me up. So another thing you can do, you can put a tripwire up attached to empty cans. If you're sleeping in Central Park or the woods or something, you set up tripwires with empty cans tied on the end, so if someone trips it, the cans clink together, it wakes you up. You could do it with empty bottles, cans. Cans are easier. I never bothered with all that, but that's something you can do. Paracord is so useful. It's hard to make cordage out of shrubbery. It's not an easy thing to do. I can do it, but it takes a long time. It's tedious work. You're better off buying a roll of paracord. It's invaluable. Another thing that's very useful is those little bungee cords. They're just little tiny bungee cords. You can tie stuff to your backpack with them. You can use them for security. There's a million, paracord and little bungee cords that are so useful, so valuable. Then you got self-defense. Me personally, I trust in my hands. I'm a pretty good boxer. Here's a funny thing about getting into fights on the street. A lot of people will think they can just run you over, but once they realize that you're not afraid to fight and you're confident in your abilities to do so, they don't want it. I've had so many people where I'm squaring up and they decide against it because I'm confident and I actually like to box. So I'm like, this clown is about to get schooled out here. And it's like they can almost read your mind, you know what I mean? Because they can just tell, like, hold up, this kid is ready. Am I ready? I don't think so. Like, I had that happen more than once. And I'm talking people you would think were, a lot of people would have been scared of them. And they were bigger than me a lot of the time. But I'm confident. I hit hard, bro. And I'm confident if I catch someone on the chin, it's going to be lights out. So they can sense that when they're like, when I'm squaring up and getting ready, and I'm thinking to myself, all I need is one shot, And I'm not trying to sound like a badass. I'm just saying, this is when you have that mentality, people can sense it literally, and they're like, wait a minute, I don't want this. But other times I'd get into it with truly dangerous people. In those situations, I would just be very vigilant because I know these people they're not stupid and they are dangerous. And if they want you, they're gonna do it in a slick way. So you got to be very vigilant. Don't be going the same routes all the time. Change your routes up, because if someone's trying to rob you and they know your patterns, they're gonna catch you. So I had a plywood sign that folded down into like this little block of wood, and I'd keep that in my hand, thinking to myself, it's just as good as a bat, just about, if I crack someone in the face with it, because there was people that I almost got into it with who could beat me with hands. I knew that. I'm not delusional. I know my limits. You know what I mean? And there's people on the street who can whoop my ass if I don't have a weapon. But if I got a weapon, I can whoop their ass. So a good weapon to carry. And look, this is a last resort. You're better off just using your hands and losing a fight. You don't want to. There's people out there who are fragile, where if you crack them upside the head, they're going to lose their life. You know what I mean? So only in self-defense do you use a weapon. Now, I would never use a knife in self-defense unless I'm in a fight to the death. Like if you're trying to kill me, then I'm going to try to kill you. That's the only time I'd use a knife, which it never even came close to that out on the street. But I was close to using my little stack of plywood more than once, because when a dangerous motherfucker thinks you got a lot of money and they're planning on robbing you, you know, I wasn't going to try to kill him with a knife, but I was going to try to crack his head wide open with that piece of plywood. Anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that. But here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, just stick with your hands. You know? You can learn basic self-defense off of YouTube. Boxing is all about technique. I don't care. You don't even have to be strong to hit hard, and that's the truth. If you swing right, it's all about like velocity. If you can get your hands moving fast enough and you catch someone right, you will knock them out. Anyways, that's self-defense, but that's something don't even worry about. If you're cool and you're a peaceful person, people aren't gonna just be starting fights with you and shit. You know, the reason I would get into it sometimes is because I got a bit of a temper, and sometimes I was just acting like an asshole. You know what I mean? And other than that, I got along with everyone. But every once in a while, you just clash with people. You know what I mean? So that's self-defense. Now you got comfort, entertainment. Get yourself a smartphone. You can get them at friggin' CVS for you can get them cheap nowadays, like $30. You don't need to pay the bill. Just use the Wi-Fi. If you're in a city, there's going to be free Wi-Fi around. Download a book reader. Download some books. This way, when you're in your spot at night, you can read a book. You don't need internet. That's what I would do when I couldn't afford internet. I would have movies downloaded on my phone. But mostly I would read books when I couldn't afford internet. I like to read. So you download a book reader, you get some books. Now, transportation, a bicycle is the best transportation. I will try to add a picture of my setup with my bike and my luggage attached to it.
What happened?
I'd be riding down the street in New York. People would pull up next to me in their car and be like, damn, bro.
Oh, let's look at the picture that he had there. Okay. So he showed a picture.
I like to read. So you download a book reader, you get some books. Now, transportation, a bicycle is the best transportation. I will try to add a picture of my setup with my bike and my luggage attached to it.
There it is. So it looks like he's got the back of the bicycle, and it's got a thing on the back where he just mounts his stuff on the back. So instead of having a full carrier, which would have it looks like it only has probably 1 or 2 wheels at the bottom here. That's all it is. It's just it looks like it's just a board or something he attached to the back of his bicycle at an angle. See, it's attached from the seat all the way there. Because he doesn't have a back, the things that the guard that you have there to protect you from water and mud coming back at you. He doesn't have that, so he has that thing there. So it looks like he probably has a couple of small wheels at the bottom of this on this end over here, and that's how he's doing it. Now, cops and over here in San Antonio, they see you running around with this, and they're going to consider you a problem. Okay, they're going to think, okay, I mean, that's just as bad as having a shopping cart. I hate to say it, but over here they don't have any tolerance. Over there in New York, they probably don't give a shit. But over here, they see you like this, downtown like this, they're going to say that guy's going to have a problem. He's going to cause a problem. and they're gonna go fuck with you most likely. At the beginning, you know, I mean, you may last like that a while, but eventually some cop's got nothing better to do, go fuck with you just because he's got nothing better to do. That's the way cops are. You know, they're always looking to give themselves work. You know, but anyway, it's a nice rig. It's a nice rig. I don't think I would be able to do that myself. What I would do is I would make like you see how he's got the connector here. I would make the connector there, which is good, maybe a little bit lower, put it over, and then mount it on either side of this right here. Because this is where you're supposed to put anything you carry on the back here. You know, the saddlebags, you know, we used to call them saddlebags. Maybe they still do. If you were going to mount saddlebags, it would be right here in this area. And that's the most you could do. You run around with saddlebags like that, that's not bad. You run around like this is sticking out. When you turn, you could, you know, hit somebody, maybe. But the thing is, it looks like an eyesore, and that's what they're attracted to. They're attracted to anything that looks like an eyesore, because you know they might as well all be HOAs. You know, these people. So anyway, I would just modify it and put it there. I was thinking of getting a bicycle so I can bicycle to HEB, which is like 3 blocks away. But I wanted to get a bicycle so I can get saddlebags and mount it right there. You take a backpack and then the saddlebags, and you're good to go, you know. But, you know, the problem is I live on the second floor, and I can't really do much because unless I want to somehow keep the bicycle downstairs, I can try to keep the bicycle downstairs to the side and see if that'll work. But usually a bicycle, because of the way these things stick out, it's kind of hard to get them. Like this is not too wide. These speeder bikes, I think they're called speeders or 10 speeds. They used to be called 10 speeds. This is not too wide, so that's not bad. But the ones that I would get, they're really wide. So I would have to fool around with it. But I don't have the money for that right now. I don't have the money for a bike. I would have to find a bike that I could fix up and repair and reconstitute, and then I can go ahead and create that thing. Basically, you get 2 pieces of metal, and you mount it on a backboard that also gets mounted here with brackets. You use brackets, and you can actually make your own saddlebag assembly. Just from here to here, right there, and then you mount it to this. Because this is the only thing in the back that can take weight, this axle. So you would have to get a thin piece of metal that fits in there, you know, drill a hole through the metal and measure to make sure that it'll be there. It'll stay there. But once you do that and you mount that thing permanently, as long as you inspect it now and again to make sure it stays, you know, strong, you're good to go. You know, it won't be anything official, but it won't look as bad. And then on top of that, when you're done, you can add some reinforcement to it here and there. And then you can get the saddlebags. You can buy saddlebags, or you can make your own saddlebags. And you just put them there. And then when you go grocery shopping, just like I want to do, I'm tired of driving. I want to be set up so that if I lose my car or gas is too expensive, I can get on there and start, you know, I can bicycle to Walmart and then come back, you know, just slowly take my time. That's what I was thinking. I'm still overweight, but there's bicycles that you can get that are made for overweight people. They sell them at Walmart, as a matter of fact. And you just modify it, and you got your shit. You know, you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, that's how you could do it. Just get the saddlebags, fill it up, bicycle your ass back home. Yeah. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. I didn't have saddlebags. I had a dirt bike. You know. Anyway, let's continue, Joey. See how he's got it? So back here, there's going to be a couple of little wheels or something underneath. It's like, it's from here to here, and then it angles. And that'll work. But the thing is, it's an eyesore. And these cops, they're just magnetically attracted to any kind of eyesore. And here's his backpack. I mean, that would work, but you're better off with saddlebags. Saddlebags, I don't think they'll complain about, because a saddlebag is a very common thing. They sell them for bicycles. They're official. It's within code. As long as they're mounted good, you're good. But this thing is a little much, so they may have an issue. Anyway.
I'd be riding down the street in New York. People would pull up next to me in their car and be like, "Damn, bro, I never seen that. You got like your whole house behind you on a bike." Like, people were impressed by it, you know?
People will like it, but
I'm trying to not go over a half hour here. So, okay, then you got shelter. This is my military poncho. This was my main form of shelter. It's a military poncho. You can get them for probably less than $50. They have military boot shoelaces tied on the corners and in the middle. So it's a poncho, but it's also a shelter. And this was my shelter the whole time I was homeless. Now, another thing you're going to need for shelter is a tarp. Now, this is my camouflage tarp. This was my ground cover, but I could also use it for shelter because I tied paracord on all the grommets on it. So, you know what I'm saying? This is another useful thing. I got that at Home Depot for like $30. It's just a camouflage tarp. If you don't want to carry the tarp is not light. The military poncho is heavy for its size, but to me, both of those things are so useful that I didn't care about the weight.
Yeah.
You can get lighter, better tarps than that. That's a kind of a cheap tarp. That's why it's so heavy, because it's a cheap one. Okay, then tools. Now, as far as tools, if you got a bicycle, you're going to need some bicycle repair tools. You're going to have to be able to change a tire on a bicycle. It's not a hard thing to do. You know, have some extra inner tubes. There's tools for changing a tire on a bike. Just there's things to get the tire off, and they're very useful to have. Go to any bike shop, get yourself this stuff to change a tire on a bike. You're going to need a screwdriver with the tips to change. Pliers are invaluable. That's one thing. A lot of tools you can just make if you need them, but pliers you can't. You can maybe make pliers, but they're not going to work like real pliers. So there's pliers are worth having. Sewing equipment to sew your stuff. A portable saw is good. It just comes in handy. And a knife. And my favorite pliers are the vice grip pliers. Now, I guess I can show y'all some tools real quick. We're at 33. Yeah, it's fine. This is the last thing I'm going over anyway. So, let's see. Wait. All right. So, all right. Shit. Now, these are vice grip pliers. They will lock on to stuff. You know what I mean? I'll show you what I mean. Hold up. Hold on. Man, this is fucking... Wait, I'll put this here so hopefully y'all can see. Alright, so... like that. Can you see that? Alright. Like, so... they lock onto stuff like this. See what I mean? And then to get it off, you push this off. To adjust it, you turn that. You see that thing?
Oh.
This. See what I mean?
Oh, those are vice grips.
And then to get it off, you push this.
The lever. Yeah.
Off.
I love those.
To adjust
those
it.
are some of my favorite tool in the world.
That.
Is that.
You see
and,
that thing?
multi-tool. That and a multi-tool. You have a good multi-tool
That
like that.
thing.
You're
You
good.
turn that to adjust the size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would go like, I'm turning it to tighten it now, and you see how it's closing up,
Yeah, that applies
That's
tension.
you turn this thing.
You can adjust it really well.
So yeah, I mean my truck is wrecked. This is from when the girl rammed into me. Everything just got completely destroyed.
Jeez.
Let's see if I'll show you all. Okay, these are good screwdrivers because you can it's got all the tips and everything in there.
Oh yeah, I have one of those. I have those, and I have the individual
ones. Are great screwdrivers.
They're compatible,
and all those tips
compact.
Work in a drill too. So, but most of my tools, I keep my tools. Hold on. I keep my tools in my spare tire well. Can y'all see that? Hopefully you can see that. But that's where I keep my tools. Box cutter is a handy thing to have. But yeah, so hold on. Man, that's fucking annoying. I knew that shit was gonna happen. Alright, so hopefully I explained pretty well the proper equipment for being homeless. Wow, I did that in under 40 minutes. That's pretty good. I was thinking this was going to be like an hour-long video. So, if you made it this far, I appreciate you for that. Mm-hmm. It really helps me in the algorithm if you watch the whole video. So, thanks for watching the whole thing. Welcome to all the new people. And I'm thinking I might start going live every Wednesday night, but I've got to get internet first. Which night is best for going live? I'm thinking maybe Wednesday. And it's going to be, I'm going to show y'all just funny things that I find on the internet during the week. And that's what we'll do on Wednesday nights. I'll go live maybe 8 o'clock Wednesday nights. If anyone's got a suggestion of a better time, I'm all ears. I'm thinking Wednesday nights at 8 is good because it's like midweek. And maybe I'll go live for an hour or two on Wednesday nights and just give y'all something to look forward to midweek, because it's going to be based mostly on comedy, because I find some really funny shit on the internet during the week, and we'll just go over that stuff. And some of the comments I put on some of this shit, I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of my humor. I crack myself up. So maybe I'll start doing that Wednesday nights, just go live and show y'all the funny stuff that I find on the internet. And I'm still waiting for my how to quit smoking weed video to get approved. It's been 4 or 5 days. I filmed it twice. I'm waiting for approval on both or either one. So as soon as that's approved, I'll put it out. If they reject it, then I'm just going to put it out anyway, and it's just going to get less views. But so I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the comments, the likes, the subscribes. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for the Patreon support. Appreciate every single one of you. Everybody have a good one. I'll try to link all this stuff in the in the description. And if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll answer as many as I can. I mean, I can't just sit there all day answering comments, but I'll answer the first, as I always do, the first 10, 20. So everybody have a good one. I'll see y'all on the next one. If there's any particular video you want to see, let me know. I've got a bunch of videos I want to make, but if anyone's got anything in particular they want to see, let me know. So yeah, have a good one. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'll let you know when I'm going to start going live. All right, see y'all on the next one.
Yeah, Joey's a really resourceful, intelligent guy. That guy knows how to adapt and survive out there. So anyway, the only thing I disagreed with is the design on the bike. You should put saddlebags on it. The good thing about the way he did it is a lot of the weight is put on the back. When you have a lot of weight and you have a long structure, the way he has a long structure. When you have that, okay, you're doing that to distribute the weight on the back end. Okay. Let's see. Put this. I don't remember where it is. Okay, so he has the weight here, right? He has his backpack here. Then he has the weight. The weight is being distributed primarily over here on this end. Most of this weight, about from here on, is on the back end. So it's not on the not on the bicycle. Bicycle couldn't handle that much weight anyway, really. A bicycle, especially an old 10-speed like this, is gonna not be able to handle that kind of weight. I wouldn't be able to be on there for very long. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be good for the bike. The bike's rated at so many pounds. So with this backpack on there, he's getting this backpack, his personal weight, and this little bit on the bike. The rest, about more than half of this, is going on the ground behind him, dragging. Okay. So, I mean, the way he set it up here, because of the amount of stuff he's toting around, it makes sense. The good thing is he can get away with that over there. Over here, you can't do that. I mean, you'd be better off with a shopping cart if that's the case. But, yeah, I mean, out there, you want to be as light as possible. I have one of those military grade, or not military grade. It's not a military grade poncho, but it's a military looking poncho that's high grade, but it's civilian, and it's pure vinyl. It's a pure vinyl poncho that is 100% waterproof. You put that on, you're not going to get wet, period. And except maybe your shoes, of course. But yeah, you can just sit there in the rain and do nothing, and you'll be fine. Hardest thing out there is the mosquitoes, in my opinion. I mean, they ate me alive most nights, and the heat was a bit much. But anyway, there we are. We have this, and I just thought I'd say, I still like the saddlebag idea. But the saddlebags I've ever seen, some of them are real bulky, and some people don't like that. But the thing is, if you're bicycling and you're just going to go pick up a few things, you should make sure you can have like eggs, bread, paper towels. Paper towels you could probably mount on top, because you're going to put two on either side, try to distribute the weight evenly, and then you're going to have probably something right here towards this end, right here. And you can stack it up there, kind of use a bungee to hold it down, and then you can have the other stuff there. And this is an alternative way, like if I find out that I just can't afford a car anymore, it's too expensive, it's either the apartment or the car, and I have to let the car go, I can still go over there and get shopping done, at least, which is something. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it, guys. I think we're at about an hour, 8 minutes, and we're going to stop the video. I'm glad I was able to get some Joey in there. Joey's really insightful, that guy. And I'd like to thank you for watching. You take care of yourselves. Remember, don't get diabetes. Trust me, it's nothing but pure pain after a while. And I'm going to go see if I can pray this off, man. I'm tired of it. You take care of yourselves, all right? No matter what you do to survive, it's not personal down here. If you lie and you cheat and you steal to survive, it's not personal. But you are victimizing somebody when you do that. Just try to be good to each other if you can. I'm done. I mean, I make fun that I'm on the dark side, but if I was really on the dark side, man, I'd be exploiting humanity left and right, and I don't do that. Other people do that. So, be free. Be as free as you can and be happy. All right? Thank you for watching. You take care of yourselves. The Lord bless you. Take care.